Hello, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Sam Leah Show, where we're on a mission to become our best selves, and we're inviting you along for the ride. So, your weekend
Absolutely.
was chaos. You had so much going on.
It was good, and it was just overwhelming. Like, you talk a lot about being overstimulated, and,
Yeah,
that's how I was Sunday. Like, once it was over, I'm like, "No one make a sound," and I recognized it really well and put headphones in. But, yeah, Joe had a graduation party, and there's just a couple things that I think everybody needs to hear about this whole process. First and foremost, don't have it at your house.
right.
I can't tell you the amount of joy it brought me to leave my home, go somewhere else, have a big, huge party, trash some other place,
Yeah,
pay to have it cleaned up, and leave.
yeah, that is
Like,
nice.
I didn't have to worry about food. I didn't have to worry about bathrooms. I didn't have to worry about drinks. I didn't have to worry about refills. I didn't have to worry about the garbage being taken out. I just got to, like, walk around the
Yeah,
whole time and just mix and mingle and watch her and enjoy it. I hired a photographer. And, honestly, super cheap, super affordable to rent a place. So I didn't understand, like, I rented a place and it was $250. You get the money back if you show up, and then you just gotta pay for your food, and I had open bar. I paid for everybody's alcohol and drinks because it was just easier, and it was under $1,000 to have a party. Now, there was families that came that are having a graduation party, and they said, "You're a fucking genius because we had to pay for tent, chairs, and tables, and that
right,
alone was $1,200, and that's not even food yet." I
right.
pa and you guys, and then I tipped just really well. I told the people, I said, "Look, open bar, let people order. I see you working hard. I will reward you with a great tip. I've been in service before." And those people were just like, "What do you need? What do you need?" And it was but then I hired a photographer for like $200 just to stay there for a couple hours and take some pictures. I didn't have my phone in my hand the whole time. I enjoyed 10 out of 10 recommend having your graduation party or any big celebration at a different location.
Yeah,
0 stress because we had showings on our house the whole time we were there. So that was going on, in the background. 10 out of 10 recommend. But I was exhausted. We stood on concrete for 6 hours, and it was just so fun to watch her get excited that people were there for her, bringing cards and just taking pictures. But Sunday, out. Slept in for
yeah,
the first time, and it was so good, but it is such a relief that it's over. So for those of you that are divorced, here's a couple pointers. Number 1, go take your graduate a couple weeks early and go get their pictures taken on campus at a place. Pay a photographer. You go do it. Take your iPhone. Those things are powerful enough to take really good pictures. Go spend an hour on campus and take pictures in their cap and gown a week or two early. It was so much fun. We had a little boom box. I had a photographer do it because I can't take a picture to save my life. And we had a whole photo shoot. And then for this party, we had her party this weekend. She doesn't graduate till the 19th, but it's done. It's
right.
done. And here's why we did it early. Number 1, I didn't want the stress of it right when we were getting ready to move and sell our house. So I wanted it done as early as possible. Number 2, I wanted her to be able to enjoy graduation and to be able to go to all the parties and not be in competition with anybody else of why people couldn't show up for her because it was the same time as so and so's. So we had it, and family had no excuse to miss it because it was so early. Like 10 out of 10, I recommend early, get it done. Because then, even if my ex husband was still in the picture, it's done. He can have his own party. Like, we're done. Early in the month, we're done, So and she kept saying all day yesterday, it was such a relief to have this done. Like, I get to enjoy the rest of the month. I get to enjoy my friends. I get to enjoy senior. I don't have to worry about a party. 10 out of 10 recommend getting everything done early. Taking the
Mhm.
picture, because then we had pictures of her in cap and gown at the party, and people were like, "She's gonna look amazing. This looks so good." And like now they don't have to come to graduation. They've seen her in cap and gown. They congratulate her, and it's over.
Right.
I'm just telling you, I'm so glad I did it this way.
Yeah.
Early, early, early.
And so
But
she
that
she
took up
has
our whole
1 week
weekend.
left of school?
She's done next Monday, but seniors don't graduate till the 19th, so they can, like, have a week off to dick around and do whatever. But
Oh,
yeah, they finish really early, and the rest of people don't. I mean, my other kids aren't out. Granted, it's different schools, but my rest of my kids aren't out till, like, the 20 something, 23rd, 24th. But
okay.
yeah, it was just that all that build up, you get there and you're like, "Are people gonna show up? Like, is this gonna work? Is the weather gonna hold?" Because we did have it outside at this venue. But we just did simple. Like we probably bought too much decorations. I wouldn't do balloons. She did a 2024 balloon. That would have been it. I wouldn't. We did a whole bunch of other little balloons everywhere. Unnecessary.
Mm,
Like just literally people want to look at pictures, good food, and drinks. That's it.
right.
They're just there to socialize and music playing in the background. You don't need all the fucking cheesy ass cap and gown decoration bullshit. Don't waste your money there. Waste your money not on decorations, on a venue or a photographer, hands down. So
Yeah.
that's my sense about it. Learned a lot. Didn't do it for my other child, Walker. We had it here, and it was just super stressful, and I was a bitch the whole time.
Yeah.
I was fun to be around at this party. So that's what we did. What
Yeah.
did you do this weekend?
That is nice. Not a whole lot. I'm finally coming out of my cold that knocked me on my ass for the last week. We did end up going to this like vegan. It's a burger joint, but they have vegan burgers
Okay.
on Friday. So we went
Like
there.
turkey burgers or like, no, it wouldn't be turkey burger. It'd be like,
No, it's like
what
just
it,
a plant-based like patty, but they're really good.
sure.
And speaking of like overstimulated, immediately when no, they are. But as soon as we got in there, like the music was so loud, and
Uh-huh.
we were all just like, "Oh my god, like should we go outside? Like sit outside?" We're so
Yeah.
like it's just too much. And so we ended up just staying in, and we like ate the food, and then we left, and we're just like like just to walk out of there. There was just so much going on, and all three of us were just
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, we're overstimulated."
We have a breakfast place like that around here. It's a vibe, like, but going into it, it's a vibe, and you're like, okay,
Right.
prepare for no conversation because the music's slow, but the food's so
Right.
damn
It's
good.
like
We
we
cannot
had to
not
like
go.
yell at each other, and it was
Yeah,
just a
you're like, what?
whole thing. Yeah.
Move your lips more. What'd you say?
But you know what? I realized so whenever we're at a place that has French fries, like burgers, fries, whatever,
Yeah,
usually there's options. There's ketchup and there's malt vinegar. I want to know, is this a thing that's just local, or is that does anybody
never,
else put vinegar on their French fries, or is that just like
never.
a Western New York thing?
Vinegar for me is like cleaning the sink with. Like that's I don't
I
know.
love vinegar. I put it on. I make my own salad dressings. I do the vinegar. I love vinegar on fries. Like pickled things.
I do like
I
pickled things,
I
but
love
vinegar,
vinegar.
I will take a good vinaigrette at a restaurant every once in a while, but yeah, I usually use just vinegar for cleaning. Like, when you dump like
Yeah,
baking
like a
soda down the
white,
sink and
like
then
a
vinegar and
distilled
then it,
white vinegar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll try. There's the malt vinegars you can buy, and you put it on your French fries. It's really good. Unless you don't, if you're not into vinegar, you're just not gonna like it. But
I
I
just
don't know.
gave up ketchup
That's
too. Like
around here all the time.
I don't use ketchup either. Like I stopped using ketchup just because it's so sugary and such
Yeah.
a waste. So
Yeah.
like I'd rather take a good like Cajun seasoning on my fries or
Yeah.
something to give it a kick so I don't need
Mhm.
just like, hey, let me just dip some sugar on my French fry.
Right.
Don't
Right.
need that calorie, that's for
Yeah.
sure. I had some Bush NAs this weekend, had some NAs. I had 2 Bush NAs. It really felt like unnecessary. Once I drank them, I'm like, well, that was just stupid calories. Like didn't
Mm.
need to take, but the
You
crispness
like
being
kombucha?
outside sometimes, but I don't feel like wasting the money and then find out I don't like it.
Mm. Mhm.
Like some of them I'm like, whoa, can't do that.
Yeah.
But
'Cause that's
I,
kinda
I
refreshing.
yeah, I like the crispness of a beer, but
Right.
it was a party. I was trying to be social and be in my own element, but follow still my own rules that I didn't want to drink. And so it worked. It gave me
Yeah.
that vibe that I was looking for. But I listened to a podcast this morning, as I do every morning when I'm walking. And it's funny when I looked at our notes, you were going to talk about Mel Robbins, and that's who I listened
Mhm.
to this morning. And it was just kind of fitting with where we were with graduation. She was doing one on time. And I got emotional, and I'm trying not to now, but she was like, when your kid reaches 18, you are 90% done spending time with them and you only have
Right.
10% left. And
Right.
that got me. That got me because of what we, celebrating this weekend. And I have older kids. But what really got me was when she spun it to your own parents. That
Hmm.
you only have 10% left to spend with them. And I'm 45, so it's probably way less than that now because I was 18 fucking, years ago. But that I have only 10% of my time left with my own parents.
Mm.
So, like, there was so many dynamics that I was looking at it this morning, and so she was giving tips on how to better have your time, and one of the very first rules was, "Don't be tit for tat." Like, "Well, I came to see you, now you come to see me," or, "Hey, I called you, now you call me." Well, hey, parents, I want to come visit you, but you're busy. So I'm going to wait till you invite me. Or it's like, you can't get petty. If you want to spend time with your family, go spend time with your family. If you want to see your parents, go see your parents. But she was talking about, her being the breadwinner of her family. She goes, I was going to things for my kids and I was going to my parents, but I was always working while I was there, facing the computer, facing the phone. And I'm like, fuck, that was me.
Right.
That was a lot of my older kids' childhood, was definitely me distracted with having to work so much as a single parent. And it was just really a good podcast to listen to about like priority, like who are your people and what is the priority? And you having a phone or a computer in front of your face is not your quality time with those people. And you are dwindling your time with these people. So like when I heard it this morning and knowing she's graduating and Walker just graduated 2 years ago, I'm in the 10% category with them now. I've spent 90%. Now, the good thing for me is I have 2 more kids to redo it and do it better. And I'm very conscious of that now, of like, I'm not going to be as distracted. I'm not going to be as mindless and not go to things or not do this. And it's like, you get one time through with this. And
Mhm.
Jared and I have made a conscious decision to not put our kids in 500 activities, these 2, because we did with the other 2. We're not. Everybody's like, are they in baseball this summer? No. Are they doing soccer? No. They're spending time with us.
Mhm.
I'm not going to give my kids up to spend time. And I'm not saying that's bad for other people. I've just done that already.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to share my time with a stranger or a sideline coach. I'm not. We're not going to do that this time through. We're going to coach our kids, or they're not probably doing it. So it was just a perspective. Like, it was just having 2 pockets of kids and listening to that podcast hit me to the core of, I've spent my time with my kids already, the 90% with the older 2. And now
Right.
I'm in the 10%. And I'm just like, what the fuck? That's so unfair. And she explained it like this. She said, it's kind of like that ice cube that falls out that never hits the cup and goes to the floor. And you think, oh, I need to go finish making my drink and I'll come back and pick that up and put that in the sink so it can melt. And by the time you get distracted and come back, it's melted and it's gone. You're like, well, that was quick. Like, it just disappeared so fast. She's like, that's time. Time
Right.
with your kids is that ice cube that just melts and goes away really fast. And I'm like, holy shit, it is just like that. Because I remember them being babies like yesterday. So, anyways, it was just something that really like hit me.
Yeah.
10% left.
Well, so then that also means you only have 10% left with your in-laws.
This is facts. That is facts. That is facts. I don't know though. Moving closer, it might be more time.
Yeah.
There might be more time. But
So,
well,
yeah.
that's where my head went, was like, now we're moving closer to his parents. And yes, we will be closer to my parents than what we've ever been as adults. But I'm like, I want to spend more time with my parents.
Right.
Like, the really cool people. I want to go hang with them. So
Yeah. I know, it's so crazy. Like, I was thinking about this yesterday, is I've gone longer without my parents now than
yeah.
I knew my parents for.
Well, then
That's
I
weird.
started crying for you. Then I was like, at least I have 10%. Like, quit being so bitchy, Sam. Like, at least you have 10%. Like, and like that, it could be taken away at any moment. So
Right.
like, if you have time to go see your parents, go see your parents. You have time to and Mel was saying, even if you just want to call them, fucking just call them.
Yeah.
Quit like, I'll call them later and not call them. So sorry. But
Yeah.
yeah, you not
Yeah.
having your parents at all, perspective.
Yeah, it's just weird to, like, think about that, about how and how much life I have left, God willing, that I just won't have them around. I mean, it's just a weird thing to think about. But yeah, I
Yeah.
had seen this video of Mel Robbins. Just, it was like a clip on TikTok of, I think, one of her podcasts or something. I actually no, I think she was just like hanging out and doing a video. But she was talking about how I think it was Sunday morning. She was just kind of sitting there having her coffee and just thinking about things that she could be doing, like how her default setting in her brain is productivity, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Sounds familiar. she
Yeah.
she is
What?
this, I could do this, or I should do this, or I could get this done, or be done early with this. And she had to, like, talk herself out of that and go, no, you know what? I also
Could just sit.
could just relax. I could just sit here and
That's
enjoy
hard.
my coffee and not do anything and
Yeah.
just relax. Now, I'm really good at that, I will say. I do
Sure.
not overexert myself. I just
Yeah.
don't. I really am good at compartmentalizing, and when I need a break, I take a break. If I
Yeah.
feel my body's like getting worn down, I don't push it. Like I am good about that. But so I had seen that video yesterday, and then yesterday, because I'm still, I think I've shown this book to you guys
Yep.
before,
Mhm.
Journey to the Heart. I'm a little behind, so I was reading a bunch of entries last night, and then the one from there was one in April, and it says give yourself a break. And so I wanted to read this because I know there's a lot of y'all
Yeah.
out there that need to give yourself a fucking break because you're just going. So it says, learn to appreciate yourself and others. Knowing we desire growth and improvement is one thing. Constantly driving ourselves and others is another. Maybe the answer isn't what we need to do better, try harder, push more. Maybe the answer is recognizing and appreciating how well we already do things, how hard we try, how much we have done, how well others are doing too. Pushing ourselves can become so habitual that when we deny ourselves any feeling of satisfaction, or that we deny ourselves any feeling of satisfaction, no matter how well or how much we do, the urge to try harder, do better, do more keeps pushing us on. It doesn't let us rest. We still feel it isn't quite good enough. If you've been pushing yourself that hard, you may need more than a coffee break. Take a real break. Give yourself permission to put that drive aside. Quiet that part of you that wants to do more, be more, accomplish more. Learn how to value how well you do things, even if no one else sees or appreciates your efforts. Applaud your own efforts and the efforts of those you love. For today and for 1 week, instead of demanding more of yourself, tell yourself how well you've done. For today and for 1 week, instead of demanding more from those around you, tell them they are doing well too. And I love that. And
Mhm.
that's definitely something I know that you work on.
Yeah.
'Cause you're like, go, 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 go. And even when things kind of calm down, that's uncomfortable for you.
It is.
And you feel like you should be doing more, or there should be
Mhm.
something you should be on top of or getting ahead of. And so it is just a really important reminder that we don't always have to be striving. You can
Yeah.
have that mindset of, yes, my goal is always growth. It's always revolution or evolution. It's always, I want to better myself, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I have to constantly be preoccupied with it. It can
Yeah.
be more of a slow paced journey.
I think I'm getting way better at it. Like yesterday was I when I got home from the party, we just all crashed on Saturday.
Yeah.
And Sunday I slept in, which I never do. And then I made time for family first. And then I finally committed to work and I sat down, put earbuds in because I knew I was overstimulated. If somebody made a noise, I was going to lose my mind. So I put headphones in and was working. And then I just was like, got tired. I'm like, I'm taking a break. And I sat with the kids and I played, which I would have just pushed through. Like, no, I have to get this done. So I'm going to keep going, even though I'm tired, even though I'm burnt out, even though I hate. And now I'm realizing like just take the break because they're going to go to bed. So spend some time with them. So we did the seek and find. And then even Jer, I hadn't give him any attention. So I'm like, let's go on a walk together. So then him and I went on a walk. But I'm like, but when we get back at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna have to sit down
Right.
and do something. And I did, but like for me, I used to just power through and miss a bunch. And then that feeling of like, okay, I got all my to-do list done, but I missed out on family. I missed out on this. And now I'm like, I think it's this whole being around you and perspective and like I'm achieving and I don't have to be 100% all the time.
Right.
I can hit pause and I wish I would have had that understanding when my older two were younger as a single parent. You know, you're coming home from work and you're like, okay, I got to get dinner going. I got to get their homework going. I got to lay out the clothes tomorrow. I got to mow the yard. I got to do the house. I got to do this. And it was just task all the time. And I didn't hit pause and I didn't play on the floor with them. I'd be like, go play, go play, go play. And I have huge regrets of that. Huge that I prioritize. And this is something Mel said today in our podcast. She's like, where are your priorities? Is your priorities people you love or things? Getting
Mm,
things done that won't ever fucking matter in the big picture. Nobody's going to say, man, Sam mowed a straight yard. You know, man,
right.
Sam never had dirty laundry on her floor. They aren't going to say that. They're going to be like, wow, she was really distracted as a parent, or wow, she didn't play with her kids. Like, think about how you want to leave your mark. And it's not about as a single parent for me, it was always about the task, like task. And it was mind numbing sometimes because it was just like robotic, like do this task next. And I think because I was in that fight or flight mode for so long, as a single parent that now that I have help, I have Jared, I have a successful job, I have good kids, it's a hard habit to break of like
Mhm.
the shoe could drop. You don't know the shoe could drop. And I'm slowly getting out of it. But every once in a while, depending on where I am in my cycle and the fucking moon,
Mhm.
it creeps back in,
Yeah.
but it's like being conscious of be present. Mel said today, look where your feet are at. Be present in that moment. Not in the forward 3 days ahead at work, not in the, oh shit, I forgot to do that last week, but be present where your feet are right now. And so, which is kind of ironic because that's what I used to tell my little kids all the time when they transition from house to house. I'd say, look at your feet, where you at? It's okay to be loud here. It's okay to leave a toy out here. It's okay to be obnoxious here. Like, look where your feet are. You don't have to apologize. And so I have to do a better job. And I think everybody does. Like, just be more present, not on your fucking phone.
Mhm.
That's why we didn't take our phones last night on our walks. I knew we would look at it, or I knew we would listen to music as a distraction and not talk. So it was like, no, we're leaving phones home. Joe had the kids, the littles while they were asleep. And it was just being more present, I think is
Yeah.
just the point of all of that. Like, take a fucking break and just enjoy the coffee without, oh, I gotta make a to-do list while I'm sitting here. Otherwise, this is a waste of time. No,
Right.
just fucking have the coffee. Like, think about the flavor of the coffee. Think about the warmth of the coffee. Think about that you're still in your PJs, that you still have gunk in your eyes, like just enjoy that. I don't take those pauses enough. I really don't. I did at the party. I stepped back and I looked at all of it and I was just like, she did this. Like Joe planned the whole party. She wanted to lead, and she stepped back. So I pulled her aside. I'm like, look at this. Like, we did all this, I might have paid for it, but you planned it all. And it was just like, take this in. This is how many people love you, that showed up. And
Mhm.
it was just really cool. So we got a big group picture and just being present. I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to work on it, especially with how fast the world is moving.
Yeah. It is important. And to give
It
yourself
is.
those moments, those little
Yeah.
pockets throughout the
You
day.
do it so good. I mean, I can call you and you're like, I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, nothing. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I want that, and you're like, you can just
Yeah.
stop doing what you're doing and do nothing. And I'm like, fuck, like you're always, I'll call and you don't answer because you're doing nothing and you don't want to talk on the phone and you have a boundary. And
Yeah, or it's just, sometimes it's just on the charger, like, if it's
yeah,
later and I'm done for the day, like, it's just not even near me.
yeah, I need more of that.
Yeah.
And I have this whole thing when we move into a new house that's how it will be. Like the chaos will settle and it'll just be the two littles. I won't have the bigs running all at me all over the fucking county. And it'll just be whatever we want it to be. We're not going to live by a calendar.
Mhm.
I'm not doing it, guys. Like, I'm not putting my kids in 95 fucking events so they can learn how to throw and stand and kill dirt at a soccer game. I'm just not like, and so what will that look like? That I'm kind of like really anxious, excited about that part
Yeah.
of what
I
will that
kinda
look
like
like.
that my daughter is just not at all athletically inclined, like, she's just not a
Yeah,
very.
but even non-athletic kids, like it's still like the band and the fucking group clubs and the club.
Right,
And
or,
I'm
like,
just
the
like,
musical or what, yeah, there's definitely other things, but I do like that she's not really into a lot of that stuff because she is just home,
yeah,
or she'll go to her friend's house or something, but
yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah, it's just a hindsight, I thought that's what we had to do, and oh, for
Yeah,
college we have to do these things. No, you don't.
yeah,
No, you don't. College is not a have to anymore either. So it's
right.
like I want to teach these other two kids, these little ones, like you're on your own path. Whatever it is you want to fucking do, we're gonna do. Like, you want to go hiking, let's go hiking. You want to chill at home and play a game, let's do that. Like, just more intentional time with them. Because if I really look back at my bigs, they were with other people a lot, coaching, practices, all that, more than they were home. And now
Mhm.
to know that I only have 10% left, it pisses me off that I gave
Yeah.
them up to other people.
Were you in a lot of sports
Oh,
growing up
yeah.
too? Yes,
Yeah.
you were always doing
Yeah.
something.
Absolutely. And now that I know I only have 10% with my parents and I waste that 90% with other people, it kind of pisses me off. Like,
Mhm.
my parents are pretty fucking cool people and I want to hang out with them more. So luckily they bought a big enough house that we can go hang out there on the weekends and stuff and see Joe. We're very fortunate in that we're all going to be close enough to see each other. So that'll be nice. And I still talk to my parents every day. I mean,
Yeah.
every day I call my parents, but
How
um
far away is Joe gonna be from where you're moving to?
3.5, 4 hours depending on traffic. So I'll
Okay.
be I'll be at the bottom of Alabama. She'll be at the top of Alabama.
Okay.
So my parents will be with her, and then I'll be down there, and then Jared's parents will be with us. So we've split the state. And then Walker's thinking about moving too, but he's not moving
Oh,
where we're moving. So yeah, him and Isaiah might move. And so yeah, I mean everybody's just spreading their wings and going, and hopefully there's just always a direct flight. That's all I
yeah.
told Walker. I just want a direct flight from you to me and I'll be happy,
Yeah.
and we'll be good. But yeah, it's constant. Like you're just I don't know. This 10% really has me like my parents are my people. I want to spend more than 10% with them, And so yeah, I'm going to have to work on that one. We're going to have a plan. We're going to have a better plan. But now knowing, the littles, it's just so fortunate. Sometimes there's pros of having kids again and sometimes there's not.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the hindsight that I have as a parent. And I think that goes into there was a TikTok I saw, which I would love to share with you. This lady talking about how when you hit 40, zero fucks are given anymore because you just can't carry them around. It's a long video and it's hilarious. But at the end, she's like, your fucks have to fit in a coin purse and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
but they used to be on a book bag and 2 duffel bags and suitcases and a pull behind. And now they fit into a coin purse. And I think that's just where I am with like priorities of where I'm going to put my kids. It's like, I don't care that that's not the norm. I mean, my kids
Right.
are one of the only kids not signed up for like the summer league program. My kid has zero interest in throwing a ball. Why am I going to go sign him up for baseball?
Right.
That to me, just because it's like what we're supposed to be doing, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
doing it.
Alora has been liking golf a little bit, like
Ooh, I
just
love
going to the
that.
driving range and stuff,
Life
but
skill.
that's something that her and David do together, which I love. So they'll just go, hit a couple buckets of balls, and so it's their thing, which is nice where they get to bond and
Yeah.
connect and do the fun thing. Because that's not my thing. I mean, like,
Yeah, I
I've
saw.
probably swung a club like 5 times in my life.
But that's okay. I mean, it's cool. I mean, just to have something that's their connective thing too is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Now, about this allergy thing, I know we were wanting to talk about that. Your cat has allergies or your child has allergies to
Oh,
cats?
my cat has allergies. So he's just been scratching at his ears nonstop, right? So now he's getting little
Oh.
scabbies. And so I called the vet and I was like, hey, is there any kind of antihistamine or any over the counter thing that I can try before I have to like bring him in and spend $100 on having you like look at him?
Yeah.
And so they said, yeah, you could do Benadryl. And so for what he weighed, they told me the dose of Benadryl. So I got these little pills, these little Benadryl pills, cut them in half. But I don't know if any of you have tried to pill a cat. It is not fun. It is not easy. Dogs are so much easier when giving meds because you could just put it in food and they'll just gobble it right up.
Yeah.
Cats, no. And I mean, maybe there are some cats that do that, but no, my cat. Like we had him on the dining room table. Alora had him and like holding him. And then I'm like trying to put his head back and like trying to put it in. He keeps spitting it out. He's like drooling all over the place. And I just can't. So I ended up ordering these pill popper things years ago when I used to work at an animal hospital. We used to use these and I'm like, fuck it. I need to just order these and just have these at
Uh-huh.
home for these
I don't know what it is.
situations. So it looks like a giant syringe almost, but so you put the pill in it and then you kind of like put it in their mouth and then there's a plunger thing and you just like pop it and it just pops it into the back of their throat and then like, they have to swallow it.
You
So
can't
I
do that with
ordered
your finger, like shove that pill in the back of that cat's throat and like shove that down.
I have tried and he just spits it right out. I had a syringe and like trying to put water in his mouth and
Can you
he just
can you break it into a powder like old school and put it on jelly like your parents used to do when you were a kid to like get you to eat it and you didn't
I
know
don't
it?
think he would
Never
because
mind.
he doesn't like wet food, so I don't know what I would
Mm,
even mix that with, but it's been a real pain in the ass. And then I just feel bad because I feel like I'm torturing him, but then he's like tearing his ears up. So I will let you know how this I just ordered it yesterday and it's supposed to come I think today or tomorrow. So I'm going to try to use this pill popper thing. But it's like what do you do when cats get sick? You can't like they don't it's very, very difficult to give cats pills.
yeah.
And I'm not
Not have
about
a
to give
cat.
them you can't give them like liquid stuff that has that artificial like sweeteners and flavorings and all that shit, that tastes like bubblegum or cherries or whatever, because that's not good for them. So this is where we're at. So that's what I was struggling with this weekend.
Yeah. We have kids that have allergies. And I just don't know what it's going to be like when we move down south because the pollen down there you can physically see on the trees and stuff. And my mother-in-law has horrible allergies. Jared has allergies. I don't. I mean,
Oh.
I'm
Yeah, I
blessed.
don't usually either.
I'm blessed. Thank goodness I don't have allergies. But man, when these guys all get them, I'm just like, are you allergic to dirt? What is going on? And it
Yeah.
just hangs around. It hangs. And so finding like natural remedies for it and like, the big one for, I don't know, if you've ever done this for anybody that has allergies is like buying raw honey or raw honey wherever you're from. Like you have to buy local honey and eat
Mm.
like 3 tablespoons throughout a week, and like that will help counterbalance the allergies.
That makes sense.
But you have to buy the honey that's local to your area,
Right.
so it has your kind of pollens and stuff in it.
Right, and so you can go to, like, any farmer's market, usually
Mhm.
there's somebody who's selling,
Yeah.
honey, and that's so good too. I do taste the difference when you get just
Oh,
that
that's all
raw.
we use. Yeah,
Yeah.
raw honey, it's, like, real thick and it doesn't spread, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's so good, though, but that'll help you with your allergies, but that's one thing
Mm.
but my kids don't like honey,
Oh,
so we have to,
really?
like, hide it in stuff, but the amount that they need to eat is pretty high for it to work, so we gotta work on that.
Yeah.
I think I just recently got a kid to like peanut butter and honey on bread, so I'm hoping that can stick, but that's one of my fears when we move down. I'm like, I don't wanna have to have my kids take a Claritin every single day,
Right.
because I mean, that's what my mother she just takes pills every day. I'm sure that's what Jared will probably and it's like, I don't want to take a synthetic pill I just don't. So, like, we gotta
Yeah,
find a natural
remedy.
way to get used to it down there when we move, and I'm hoping mine doesn't kick in because 'cause I've never really had them, so
Right, because
there's
'cause you're around
that.
all different plants and flowers and trees. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. So, the last thing I wanna end with is this, like, for that graduation party, guys, I was nervous about like what to wear. I've lost this weight, so I bought a whole bunch of stuff and couple pointers. When you're trying on stuff, do your hair and makeup to try on things. Because I tried on the dress that I wore and it was god awful, I thought, because my hair was in like a shitty ponytail, kind of like it is now, and I had no makeup on or anything. And I saw the dress and I'm like, ugh, like, I don't like it. And I was like, couldn't sleep very well. I'm like, I don't even like what I'm wearing tomorrow. I don't like what I'm wearing tomorrow. And then I did my hair and my makeup. I'm like, oh, well, this dress looks pretty good. So wear whatever you're comfortable in, but
Yeah.
make sure you try it on when you look decent. Otherwise, you won't like it. Like with the jewelry and like really dress the outfit up. But like, I just have to say, wear what makes you feel comfortable. Like, I
Mhm.
saw a lot of people at events that weren't wearing stuff that they were comfortable in, and you could just tell. Like,
Yeah.
wear your style. For me, it's a sundress. I feel comfortable in a sundress, like as long as it touches my knees. I feel completely confident and comfortable, and it covers up my arms. Like, so mine had sleeves, mine were down to my knees, and it was real tight around the waist, and I felt completely comfortable. And I wore comfortable shoes.
Mhm.
Thank goodness. But like, just try on stuff and wear. I just don't like parents that are like for these graduation parties, they're wearing like a dress they've never worn or wearing heels that they never wear. Like, be comfortable.
Yeah, I am all about that. I
Like,
can't.
wear your
Can't deal,
style.
especially if it's, like, hot outside,
Yeah.
you get to the summer months and you're just like, not only are you just sweaty, but then you just, like, don't even you just can't get comfortable in your clothes, and
Yeah.
I'm definitely all about comfort, and I've been leaning towards that capsule wardrobe. I think I was telling you about
I
that, like,
know.
each
I just need to
season,
have
I kind
someone
of have
order it.
these basics now that are just timeless that I can just
Yeah.
reuse until they, like, fall apart or don't fit me anymore, but it's just nice for my brain. It's just it's so simple, and if I want ideas on how to mix and match or coordinate different things, I just go on Pinterest and, like, type in the piece, and it just shows me a bunch of outfits,
I
and I
need to
can
do
put them
that
together.
so bad. Maybe that's what that'll be my like reward to myself when we move, when we get all settled, is I'll just go buy a whole bunch of time and just do that, because just something simple like that. Like, I bought some linen pants
Yeah,
the other day that I really
detail.
love, and I just bought like 3 or 4 tops. I'm like, "Okay, there's 3 outfits for 3 graduation parties right there. Just wear a
Right,
different top with these linen pants and
right.
these comfy shoes," So that's what
Yeah,
I'm gonna wear. But yeah, I think just as you get older, I just didn't give a shit about really how I looked as much as I just wanted to be comfortable that day.
mhm.
Whether it was a graduation appropriate party dress or like that, I didn't give a shit about. I'm like, I want to be comfortable. I want to look decent in pictures. This is the outfit.
Yeah,
It might not be graduation approved, but this is what I want to wear. So I don't know. And I wanted to be in pictures, hence why I hired the photographer. I
yeah, that
wanted
was
to be
smart.
in the pictures instead of being the one that took all of the pictures. So
Mhm.
just a lot. Let us know if you have a graduate and if any of that is helpful for you, or you're going to take that advice of getting some stuff done early, because it's such a huge relief to know that we are done. I get to go to graduation, enjoy it. I can snap a picture or two if I want. I don't need to because I already have them. And she can just see a love you bye and go
Right.
have fun with her friends that day and go to as many parties and we're done. Like, it is such a huge relief for those of you that have parties coming up, you know what I mean. That is just a huge burden. So, all right, until next week. Well, what are we doing right now? We're getting ready to get off because it's
Yes, hop in the
9:30.
next chapter. Today's training is all about navigating discipline as a single mom, which is so good because it's complex.
Yeah.
It's a complex thing. So we're going to talk about crucial strategies that every single mama needs to master,
Yeah.
help you establish clear rules, maintain open communication, foster positive relationships, how to stay calm in the face of some discipline challenges, how to communicate effectively with your kids. We're diving into all of it.
Mhm.
So come on there and get that training today. And then you also will get access to any of the replays that we still have in there from the last 30 days and more, because we don't always delete them when we should. So there's a lot of trainings in there.
No.
And then the replays is always available. So even if you can't come hang live with us right now for the workshop, the
Mhm.
replay will be up for at least a month. So that's this is one that I wish I had more information on when I was a newly single
Yeah.
parent, because I did a shit job. I mean, straight up.
Oh,
I was
what?
so overwhelmed.
That's
I
good.
had no patience.
Mhm.
I was not my best self at all.
Well,
And I definitely could have used more guidance and just different perspectives on how to approach discipline in a much healthier way.
I think if you grew up in an authoritative home, especially taking that into single parenting, you're not gonna
Right.
do well. Not
Right.
gonna do well, and so learning what is the appropriate method to parent now as a single parent, and I can't be the yelling, screaming, "You're grounded for a month," and that's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
So learning these new things, again, I didn't, I was still very grew up with an authoritative parent, household, so that's all I knew, so that's what I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm disciplining like crazy, and that didn't work very well. So, like, learning these new things and also just knowing a lot about yourself and where that discipline and wanting that authority to come, where it comes from, sense of control in this chaotic time of single parenting is critical. Also understanding that. And then, you guys, I am doing my parenting plan workshop today. I laugh because I swore I wasn't going to do it anymore, and it has been demanded, and I improved it, and I made a workbook, and now it's huge. Now it's huge. So if that's something, also, if you're new to following us, I do a parenting plan workshop now every month again, but it is today and tomorrow. It's 4 hours and it's available, and you get a workbook, and you're going to have a PowerPoint, and it's just very, very improved. So
Mhm.
if that's something you're interested, lots going on. Mondays are always the day to catch us because we do this casual show where we just talk about our lives, and then we go on to teach inside the next chapter. And then there's usually a training coming up in one of the weeks. So there's always something to improve your life. Again, we always say that we would have killed to have had something like this to be a part of when we were going through our divorces, so that we could thrive instead of like just sit kind of dormant and where we were. So
Yeah.
you guys are doing great by just being here. If you want to be more involved in what we're doing, then join the next chapter, because that is definitely the place to be hanging out.
Mhm.
Definitely. So until next week, guys, behave yourselves. Take care.